An aircraft carrier is a warship that serves as an air base at sea, equipped with a runway long enough and the means to carry, equip, deploy, and recover aircraft. Simply put, aircraft carriers support fighters that can take off and land. For a fleet, an aircraft carrier often serves as the capital ship, as it allows navies to project air power around the world without depending on local bases for staging aircraft operations. To date, worldwide there are a total of 47 aircraft carriers in service operated by 14 navies. The U.S. Navy has 11 large nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, each carrying about 80 fighter aircraft, which includes the largest aircraft carrier in the world. The total deck space of 11 carriers combined is more than twice that of all other nations combined. The activities on the aircraft carrier are always a mystery to most people, because of its specific nature related to the Army and military secrets. Usually only service members operating aboard are aware of the activities on board. However, there are certain exceptions. The commanding board of the aircraft carrier still allows reporters to visit and learn about the activities on it. In this video, X Machines will take you to visit and explore the common activities of service members present on the aircraft carrier. The main task of the aircraft carrier is to assist the jets in taking off and landing safely. So the main activities on the aircraft carriers are the takeoffs and landings of the aircraft. Let's first learn about this activity. Airplanes usually require a long runway to gather enough speed for them to take off successfully, but the size of the aircraft carrier is limited. How can planes take off in one small space? Engineers had to design simple but extremely effective devices to manage the takeoff process, the Catapult System. The system has been around for several decades and still proves to be effective. Despite many technological improvements since then, they are still based on the original designs. This deck catapult enables successful takeoffs with a carrier runway length of 300 feet, compared with the 2,300 feet required for normal aircraft to take off from the runway. It launched the plane from 0 to 150 knots, or 170 miles per hour, in just 2 seconds. Navy pilots often say that landing on an aircraft carrier is the most difficult task for them. The pilot must align with the runway correctly, fly at the right angle, and stop the plane within a short distance for a successful landing. This seems like an impossible task, because only a small mistake can cause the plane to plunge into the sea, but fortunately, engineers have invented 2 systems to help perform these tasks: the Fresnel lens and the arresting wires. The most dangerous part for the pilots is the touchdown and subsequent deceleration caused by the arresting wires. Not only does it take incredible skill to pull off this landing maneuver, but success also depends greatly on the ground crew avoiding any errors throughout the operation. Before touchdown, the pilot lowers the tail hook. The tail is a long metallic bar that hangs just inches above the surface of the carrier. When the aircraft lands, the hooked end of the tail snags one of the 4 arresting cables, stopping the aircraft. The modern aircraft carrier is likened to a city on the sea because of the large number of people living and working on it and the accompanying activities. Typically, an aircraft carrier holds between 5,000 and 6,000 people who work, eat, sleep and rest for months at sea. But the process of living and working on this is completely unlike any other city on the mainland. Living and working conditions here are much more cramped than in a city on the mainland. To get from place to place, personnel have to squeeze past each other in narrow corridors and scale nearly vertical steps. The aircraft carrier has its own entertainment area, but its space has been significantly reduced. Even the berthing compartments, sleeping quarters, are extremely tight.
Not so bad, actually.
All people sleep in single bunks, generally called racks, crammed together in stacks of 3. Each person gets a small stowage bin and upright locker for clothes and personal belongings, and everybody in the compartment shares a bathroom. The ship is everything its residents need to live, even if it's not as comfortably as they would like. There are multiple galleys, kitchens, and mess halls on board, which collectively serve as many as 18,000 meals a day. The ship also has a sizable laundry facility, dentist and doctor's offices, various stores and a bank of telephones where personnel can talk to their families via satellite. Life on board an aircraft carrier is undeniably difficult and exhausting, but it can also be exhilarating, especially for the men and women up on the flight deck, flying and bringing in planes on a tiny patch of runway. Good or bad, it's like no other place on Earth. There are regular shipments of goods from other ships or aircraft to replenish necessary equipment and weapons, as well as supplies and essential food for living and working on the aircraft carrier. At that time, the activities on the aircraft carrier seemed to be at their busiest. The people in charge of the aircraft carrier had a very busy unloading day. An extremely important part of the aircraft carrier is the main work area and jobs here. Indeed, jobs are highly varied. These include the main jobs that keep the aircraft carrier carry out its main missions, from pilots, to aircraft maintenance and repair engineers, to weapons handling and maintenance of nuclear reactors team. Besides, there are other jobs that help maintain the daily life of all people on the aircraft carrier, such as cooking, washing dishes, selling goods, washing clothes. Now we will visit the aircraft repair and maintenance workshop here, which can be considered as one of the most important jobs at this aircraft carrier.
Once we receive the engine, we do what's called an induction inspection. So for the induction inspection, we basically borescope the interior part of the engine, look at the modules, and also view the exterior part of the engine to make sure that all parts are accounted for and are either good or down. Once we figure out what's down with the engine, we order everything that we need and we start build up. The build-up process usually takes about 3 to 4 days, depending on the crew. Once it's completely built up, we'll put the engine on test cell, which is where we are right now. We have an engine actually outside that we're testing. That process is usually in between 3 hours if everything goes well to 3 to 4 days if everything doesn't go well. After that process of test cell, we do a post-cell inspection. So the post-cell inspection is just doing what we did previously, inspecting the internal aspect of the engine and the external part of it as well. If everything is good to go, we call up squadron, we let them know that their engine is good. It's R5, we talk to the AZs, we make sure that the AZs get the paperwork and the logbooks ready, and we issue it back out to the fleet.
On the aircraft carrier, everyone is very busy to carry out the ship's mission, but during important holidays, people still have time for rest and fun entertainment. Next will be pictures of people here celebrating Independence Day. Let's see what's different from the way people celebrate this holiday inland.
Happy 4th of July from the USS Essex.
Happy 4th of July from USS Essex.
The special thing here that no other place on the mainland has is that people can celebrate independence with guns.